Since school is set to start pretty soon, I thought the kids in the dollhouse might enjoy having some lunch bags to carry their lunches in. So stay tuned and see how easy and simple and fun these little lunch sacks are. Alright, so I've got two pieces of paper here. We're going to set this aside. This is a piece of cardstock like you would use for card making. And this is actually a piece of a real paper lunch bag. And what I did was I took my scoring tool, aka dental pick, and I scored a straight line twice along the edge, and then I tore it along that edge. I don't want a cut line at the top of my lunch bag. I want this to be to look like an in-scale, that kind of design. Alright, so let's cut this off straight. And we're going to start scoring and cutting our lunch bag. These are super, super easy to make. Now I'm going to go down 1 inch from this top line, keeping this lined up, and I'm going to very lightly score this because this paper is really, really fragile. And then I'm going to go an additional 1/4 inch or 1 1/4 inches from that torn edge, and cut. Alright, now we're going to do more scoring this direction, keeping in mind which way we're going. We're going to go over 1/2 inch and score lightly, and then we're at 3/4 of an inch from the edge. Score lightly. Now 1 1/4 inches, 1.5 inches, and at 2 inches we are going to cut. You see, you can get a lot of these lunch bags out of a real size lunch sack. Now we're going to carefully fold on our score lines, and they're going to be really hard to see on camera. I'm sorry, but heck, they're really hard for me to see, and I'm standing right here. Once I get them folded, it'll be fine. Now, where you've got this 1/4 inch, you've got 2 lines, we're actually going to kind of bring those edges together so we make that valley fold between them. I don't usually score there because scoring that close together is almost always a recipe for disaster as far as this tearing. There. I'm going to score there. Now I need some scissors. I'm going to cut up on each of these scored lines up to the other scored line, to the scored line across. Now these wide pieces, it's our front and our back, we're going to, on this one and this one, I'm going to cut like this, cut at an angle, take off little triangles. Then the final one we're going to cut off. We don't need this one. Alright, now we need a piece of scratch paper and a glue stick. I like these Elmer's glue sticks because they're purple when they're wet, so I can tell that I've got it all covered. Get that whole flap there covered in glue, and then fold this around. And it helps if you've got something to put in there. I'm going to kind of use the handle of my dental pick. I'm just pressing that against the surface just to make sure that that is adhered. Then we're going to poke these down, and we are going to fold this out of the way. Make sure I know my hands are probably in the way, but this is so tiny. It's really hard to work on without covering it up. Flip it over. Now, stand it up on your surface and use the handle of your dental pick, the eraser end of a pencil, something to kind of push that down against that flap. And there we have it. We have a lunch bag for our 1/12 scale dollhouse. If this doesn't want to stay, you can add a drop of tacky glue. I'm trying to get by with just my glue stick because that's all I have in this room right now. So let's set up and do our cardstock one. Alright, so I have this piece of purple cardstock. This is left over from another totally unrelated project. We are going to do some scoring and cutting of this. This is going to be the body of our lunch bag. And I'm going to score enough that I can make more later if I decide to. So we're going to score at 1/4 inch from one long edge, just like we did before. We can score a little more aggressively now though. And now we want to go up to 1 1/4 inches. I'm consulting my notes to the side. And then I want to go up to 1 3/4 and make sure it's straight. And I'm going to cut. Cut all the way across for right now. We're not going to use all of this. I'm actually just going to cut this free from my strip. There. So now we have this, we have a score line here, and we have a score line here. We've got 1 inch between them. So now we need to go in 1/2 inch from the end. And then we're going to go to 3/4 inch, which is 1/4 inch away obviously, and then 1 1/4 gives us our other 1/2 inch piece. We need another 1/4, so we're scoring at 1 1/2. And then we're going to 2 inches. Then we're going to 2 inches. All right, I'm not sure if I cut that, if I was cutting that off or not yet when I had to shut the camera off. My son decided he forgot I was recording. He came in and started talking to me. So we are going to now fold this like this. This is very similar to what we had before, except we have this extra piece up here. So what we are going to do with this, I'm actually going to have the double flap on the front of this lunch bag. At this fold, I'm cutting off all but that center piece. There. So now we have this shape. I didn't cut that exactly on the score line, but close enough, I think. There. And I'm going to round this. Just take my scissors and just clip off the corners just a little bit. You can do whatever you want with that part. Now, once again, we're going to cut up on those score lines to the other score line. Where is it? There it is. And we're going to cut one of these flaps off. I'm going to cut the first one off. I don't know why, but I am. That one just seems like the one to do. All right, get our scrap paper back over here. Ooh, that was probably a really bad noise on camera. Oh, I know what I forgot to do. I forgot to do one other thing with my scissors. We need to cut these ends off. If we don't clip these little corners, this will not glue as straight as it could. There. fold those ends in. That one is cut. Now if it doesn't want to, like this is cut not quite straight. So I'm going to cut those corners off of that piece too. That will allow this to all fold nice and neatly. That's better. Now I'm going to glue the back one in first because I want the front to be the more finished edge. Remember, the front is the shorter part. And I just realized I forgot to crease my sides. That's okay. If you forget to crease your sides, just do it now. That's okay. Or just not crease them. And now fold this down, and we have a more modern looking lunch bag. I'm going to force this to fold. If you forget to crease it like I did, simply do it like this. Just squeeze and do it like that. There. Now you could take a sticker and put it, use a sticker to put a little design on there. You can do all kinds of things with this and decorate it up. But that's basically a basic modern lunch bag for the modern kids in your dollhouse. So I hope you enjoyed this project. Be sure and check the blog post. I'll try to have the measurements on there, hopefully a little more clear. And I'll talk a little bit about how this went together. Find us on Facebook if you haven't already. The links for Facebook and the blog are always in the description box below the video on YouTube. And if you make something from one of my projects, be sure and share a picture with me. I'd love to see what you're working on. So until next time, have fun with those minis, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.